Good evening all. The first we'll discuss about PYQs. For example, first I will go for mind maps. If you see, for every unit, for every topic, how the mind map should be there. If you notice, for example, historical particularism. What he did? Advocated field works. Yes or no? Discussed endangered language, LG. Discussed endangered languages. Protect Indian languages, which is called as tribal languages. How we should do? We have to document it. One word. And historical connections. He told culture is because of three things: psychological aspects, environmental conditions, and historical connections. So in this, what he promoted? Historical particularism. So he also discussed about historical particularism. He was against comparatism, which is leading to ethnocentrism. Hence advocated what? Culture relativism. The next big anthropologists like R.C. Brown, Malnovisky, Margaret Mead are his students. So complete Franz Boas, complete historical particularism. All points are covered, you see. So in this way, you have to make your own mind maps. Similarly, if you see here, how many schools are there? You should come, you go. Anthropological thought. We have historical particularism, classical evolutionism. Next are what? Diffusionism, functionalism. I will be telling the same. Classical evolutionism. In this classical evolutionism, what is the main points of classical evolutionism? Evolution is stage by stage but not spontaneous. Which is what? Savagery, barbarism and civilization. Everywhere same. Everywhere same. Because of what? Psychic unity of mankind. The process is same and culture is same. The process is same, the culture is same, which is named as what? Culture parallels. Culture exists without any benefit. Means the things which are existing today without any net benefit. Without any net benefit. It is called as what? Culture survivals. So now horsemanship examples, clay pots, today clay pots, marriages. Racial superiority is a psychological myth. They advocated what? Comparative methods. So complete main basic tenets of classical evolutionism. Like this you have to make. Then coming to E.B. Taylor. In this E.B. Taylor, he told all the points. First stage of religion, which is called as animism, and his famous book is Primitive Culture. So if you remember, he mainly discussed about animism. He discussed about psychic unity of mankind. These all topics are there in him. Then Henry Morgan discussed evolution in which book? Ancient Society. One table will be there. Discuss evolution in table format. In which book he mentioned? Ancient Society. He derived about evolution, social evolution, theory of social evolution. He is famous for kinship terminology, in which two terminologies he discussed. One is called as classificatory and descriptive. And questionnaire method. He advocated for field work. That is the reason where he went. Iroquois Indians. There he advocated what? Questionnaire method. And his famous book is what? System of consanguinity and affinities of human families. So this is about Henry Morgan. James Fraser. He discussed about evolution of magic, religion, science. And magic, how we have to do? Law of similarity and law of contact. His famous book is Golden Bough, and his students are R.C. Brown and Malnovisky. So this side we have historical particularism. This side we have classical evolutionism. Similarly, next we have diffusionism. If you see here, diffusionism. Diffusionism. In diffusionism, we have American. So first we will see British. British mean pan-Egyptologist. Culture evolved in Egypt and spread to different parts. Smith, Egyptologist. Perry, extreme Egyptologist. For example, what? Children of sun god. Natural man, cultured man. Whereas W.H.R. River studied Toda tribal community and Torres Strait expedition. He advocated what? Genealogical methods while doing field works. Egypt is dominating culture, means most important point. Egypt is dominating center, but however there are other centers also, most important point. Similarly, we have diffusionism of German. In German, we have Ratzel. Ratzel, what he told? Formen Gedanke. What is Formen Gedanke? Essential, unessential, if it is present in two. Present in two cultures, then it is diffused. Formen Gedanke. And diffusion is because of what? Migration of people. Famous book is Anthropology, in which he rejected what? Geographical determinism. In which he rejected geographical determinism. Leo Frobenius. What he is famous for what? We have to find what? Invisible cultures. We have to find invisible cultures. Through what? Museum methodology. Museum methodology. Criteria of quantity. More the number of traits is similar at two different geographies, more the diffusion. Which he named it as what? Criteria of quantity. Greibner. Criteria of quantity and quality. He told primeval culture or Ur culture and early man cultures. How many such are there? He told 6. Tasmanian, Australian boomerang culture, totemic hunter culture, 2-class horticulture culture, Melanesian bow culture, Polynesian. From 6 centers migrated. Skim it. Based on social and economic aspects, how many major cultures he told? 4 major cultures. What are those? Primitive, primary, secondary and tertiary. Complete diffusionism. American diffusionism. Franz Boas. Close proximity is responsible for what? Culture diffusionism. Close proximity is geographical proximity. Close proximity is geographical proximity is responsible for culture diffusionism. And the term is called as culture. American School of Diffusionism founder is Franz Boas. He is also famous for what? Historical particularism. And he discussed about what? Cultural diffusion because of geographical particularism, and he told historical particularism and diffusion both are responsible. Means in the history, what is culture? That will become culture, however. And in our history, how it reached? It reached because of diffusion. Who told this? Franz Boas. Next, Clark Whistler. Culture center, culture margin, biological or developmental criteria. The culture will change according to the geographical, like surroundings, environment. Food habits are responsible. How many food habits he told? 6 food habits he told. Cultural diffusion, one is natural diffusion, other is organized diffusion. Transmitted through organized diffusion is called as organized diffusion. Culture climax, culture intensity, concentric circles, A.L. Kroiber. So, in this way, you have to make your own mind maps. So, how classical evolutionism, how historical particular, similarly, we will see. See, in one, we have functionalism, we have structural functionalism. Functionalism, Malinowski, British. Famous for discussing about needs. Yes or no? He is famous for discussing about needs. And what he told? Culture, here culture is there, here what is there? To satisfy human needs. The basic function of culture is what? To satisfaction of human needs. People follow culture till it satisfied needs. If not, culture will degenerate. Cult will degenerate. And major contributions. Field work and writing ethnography, he advocated for what? Participant observation. He advocated for participant observation. Second word, concept of culture. What is this word? This word? Inherited. Knowingly, he told inherited. E.B. Toller told acquired. Theory of functionalism, 3 are there. Integrationalism, dualism, monistic. Theory of needs. There are needs which are basic needs, derived needs and integrational needs. And theory of law, civil law, criminal law, yes or no? Theory of law, civil law, criminal law, kinship studies. Kinship algebra. Why kinship algebra? Utility based. Utility based. Till others help you, then only he will be our kinship. Kinship, magic, religion, myth. Religion satisfies psychological needs. Social change. What is this? New needs. Culture change. When culture is getting changed, social change. Economic anthropology, substantivist approach. Collaring, Vasi system, Urigubbu system. Relationship between economy and social. Relationship between economic aspects and social aspects. Similarly, R.C. Brown's Maine, he studied Andaman Islanders. Structure was more than the recognition of reality. Means what? The structures are more important than functions. Structures are more important than functions. Structures are more than the recognition of reality is the main crisp of R.C. Brown. Arrangement of parts, which is called as theory of social structure. He told existence of social group, internal structure, social classes, social distinction, and finally, dyadic relationship. Social structure is arrangement of persons in institutionalized roles. There are two social structures. One is actual social structure, other is general social structure. And there is three terms he gave: social morphology, social physiology, and social evolution. And he gave highest importance to what? Religion. Criticism, imagination, not dealing with change, given secondary importance to functions. Similarly, structuralism. Structuralism. People follow rules. Reciprocity is the simplest way to create social relationships. A gift binds both the giver and taker. Study, main study is what? Unconscious linguistic structure. What is present in my unconscious mind? That unconscious mind have a meaning for every word. Structure of a system. We have to understand the structure, how they are organized in our mind. Treatment of terms not as isolation, treatment of terms as interrelationship, building. Treatment of terms not as isolation, but in the totality. Discovering the general laws. The main thing is what? Discovering the general laws and understanding the underlying law. Everything is because of underlying law. Search for deep, innate, orderly principle underlying in any system. Ordered arrangement of parts. Unconscious structure of human mind. Myth is a product of mind. Language and culture, he studied on language and culture, he studied on incest taboo, he studied on totemism, he studied on human mind, he studied on psychic. Yes or no? These are all the contributions. Criticism doesn't give importance to particular society. For example, human mind is static. He told human mind is static, but human mind is static or dynamic? Dynamic. He was criticized for not discussing on social change. These are the contributions of Vishnu. Edmund Leach, structuralism. Study of a text as a whole, but not as a individual elements. Disliked synchronic functionalism and advocated diachronic functionalism. Social structure is a mental construct. Functionalism became dynamic. Mainly what he told, conflict itself is a constructive structure. Synchronic functionalism and diachronic functionalism did not explain properly. Extension of Levi-Strauss. Structuralism. Culture personality skill. How many lines are there? How many branches? These are all branches. 6 branches. Why? Main thing, no. First, what is main approach, main points? What are the main points? It studied about behavioral patterns. Studied about psychological aspects. For the first time, the psychological aspects were being studied in culture personality school. Hence, culture personality school is also called as psychological anthropology. Up to now, no one emphasized on psychology. These people for the first time emphasized on psychological aspects. For which they proved what? Japanese national character. Approach. Personality influence culture, who? Ruth Benedict. Culture influence personality, who? Margaret. Both influence each other, who? Ralph Linton, Abram Gardiner and Cora Dubais. Now Ruth Benedict. Study the culture pattern of a particular society whereby culture traits combine to become culture complex combine to become culture pattern. In which study? Pima. Where he studied and gave this? Pima. Culture trait, culture complex, culture pattern. Accept cultures are discrete entities and integrated wholes. Pima, Pueblozooni, Quakitul, Dobu. He gave the term called as special genus. There are two. One is Apollonian and Dinos. Criticism. There are multiple genus, but you told only 2. One way of impact. You are telling personality influences culture, but there will be culture also influences personality. Who told this? Margaret Mead. Margaret Mead. Trained under Franz Boas and colleague of Benedict. Coming of age in Samoa. She gave the term called as space personality. She is famous for photography and video recording, which is called as visual anthropology. You can also add restudy approach. He is also famous for restudy approach. Arapesh, Mundugomar, Shambhu. Culture and personality, culture and personality, personality and culture, vice versa. Culture shared and transmitted. Finally, it is not inherited, it is not acquired, it is inherited and acquired, which he named it as shared and transmitted. So, final definition of culture is been given by whom? Ralph Linton. What are culture universals? What are culture specialists? I gave you examples. Real culture, ideal culture and Culture construct. Needs are both biological needs and psychic needs. Biological needs are satisfied by what? Culture. Here he is same as Malnovisky. Whereas psychic needs are by emotional response, security for long term, and novelty of experience. Factors affecting personality: hereditary, environment, culture, and experience. Criticism. Abram Gardiner, culture on personality and vice versa. He gave the term called as basic personality. Why Ralph Willington did not give any term? No field work. Basic personality. Constellation or ideal constellation, attitudes towards supernatural beings. Where he studied? Polynesian tribe called as Marquesines. Criticism. Cora Du Bois. Vice versa, model personality, allure on allurist population, individual participate actively in the life of allurist children, aim, and one more thing you can add which is called as subcultures. He studied about subcultures in this way. So complete. More, how many schools are there? Neo-evolutionism is there, culture materialism is there, symbolic and interpretative theory is there, cognitive theories is there, postmodernism is there. I can do, but I don't want to make you easy. Now you do remaining 5. Okay? Like this, if you make your mind maps at the time of revision, one day before examination, it will be very, very easy. Any subject. Internal security you take. Ek chutki sindoor. You know this? Ek chutki sindoor. Continue it. Huh? Ek chutki sindoor. Tum kya jano? Babu. अजय बाबू, उमेश बाबू, रमेश बाबू, अब तो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर आ गया. So internal security. Who are doing this? Central Armed Police Forces. Central Armed Police Forces is one syllabus. So there is ITBP, there is BSF, there is CRPF, there is CASF. So you have to make. What are the objectives? When they established, what are the functions? When they established, what is the mandate? Like this you have to make. So to the point you can write in your examination. This is revision notes, but it is like this. You can open your PDF. Open it. See what I did. This is mind map. Okay. See, classical evolutionism. Stages of evolution, savagery, culture traits, methodologies, unilinear evolution, classical evolutionism. Means within one page, this is one page. Within one page, you are doing with your classical evolutionism. Second page is with respect to diffusionism. So complete page. So 3 things should be there. One is called as fair notes. Second is called as revision notes. Fair notes where there should be little bit information. Whereas revision notes, only the points like mind maps. So now you have to make your fair notes. Whereby if you get any confusion also, if you open your fair notes, that confusion will be gone. Like that it should be there. For example, restudy approach is there in your mind map or in your revision notes. You forgotten what is restudy approach. Then you have to go for your fair notes. You should not search for restudy approach. It should be in your fair notes. So directly will go, oh, there will be what is restudy. So Margaret Mead was been subjected to criticism. In order to come out of her criticism, she again visited Samoan Islands and she restudied it. And she proved that what she studied is correct. That is, culture influences personality. So in your fair notes, this content will be there. Like this, if you have fair notes, like this, if you have revision notes, every point will be covered. And when you are writing answer also, it will be with reasoning. Okay? This is your revision notes. Clear online? So we discuss about all the schools. With questions, we will do revision. Write the basic tenets about the school of classical evolutionism and special reference to Henry Morgan theory of social evolution. You have to keep in your mind. For this answer, this point should be covered. Why? Because first part of the question is about classical evolution. Anyhow, you will give intro. I'm not talking about intro. Intro is nothing but introduction. Classical evolutionism is the first school of anthropological thought where they believed that evolution is in unilinear fashion. whereby the evolution happens from savagery to barbarism to civilization. That introduction you will give. Then you will go for progressive. Evolution is progressive. Psychic unity, culture, small paragraph, small paragraph, small paragraph, small paragraph, small paragraph. But the question is about, this is first part of the question. Second part of the question is Henry Morgan. In the book Ancient Society, he discussed about what? Social evolution. Reference to Henry Morgan theory of social evolution, not about everything, not about kinship terminology, no need about Iroquois Indians. Why? Because he asked a reference to Henry Morgan theory with respect to social evolution. The table you will draw. Then you will give the conclusion. However, it is subjected to criticism, but we cannot deny the importance which they explained about evolutionary process in the initial times of 19th century. Like this, whether in your answer these points are there or not, you have to look. These are not, this is a small paragraph. This is one paragraph. This is one paragraph. So, sir, how to write paragraph format you will tell, no? Paragraph is nothing but a point. Paragraph is nothing but a point. When you explain that point in 4 or 5 lines, it is called as paragraph. When you write in a bullet point, it is a point wise. That's it. In optionals, better not to write in point wise, better to write in small paragraphs. In your GS, you can write in your point wise. There is distinction between how to write a GS answer and an optional answer. Mainly my subject I know. In my subject anthropology, if you write small paragraph, 3-4 lines, means what? That point will be enhanced, that point will be explained, that point, these all points will be. How many paragraphs you got? 6-8 paragraphs you got, 1 table you got, 3 pages completed. See this table. This table ఖచ్చితంగా ఉండాలి. Write the meaning and comparison between culture area, means which school? American school, and culture circle, German school. How would it help diffusionists to understand the diffusion of culture? Culture area, culture circle. So first, comparison culture area and culture circle. Franz Boas, Clark Whistler, Kroiber, Ratzel, Leofrebinus, Greibner and Schmidt. Before that, here you will give the introduction of diffusionism. First paragraph will be the introduction of diffusionism. In that, culture area is nothing but American school, culture crest is nothing but German school. Here I am going to discuss about first about American school of diffusionism. Culture area will be the side heading. So why I kept Franz Boas? The culture area school was been founded by whom? Franz Boas. Then I will write Clark, then I will write about Kroiber. Then I will conclude culture area. Here I will focus upon what? Geographical proximity is the main reason for diffusion. Then you will go for German school of, then small introduction of German school of diffusionism is given by 4 people. We are going to discuss further. First about Ratzel, Forman Gadanki, second about Leofrebinus, third about Greibner, fourth about Schmidt, and culture circle. Because of migration of people, there will be one diagram, culture area diagram, culture circle diagram. Then conclusion. The only criticism, the main criticism of diffusion is, they believed that cultures will be diffused, but there is no invention. This was being criticized. But however, we cannot deny the importance that, yes, culture will be diffused. For example, in India, we are speaking in English mainly because the English language as a culture was being diffused from British to India. A practical example. Many points, small paragraphs. Discuss the approaches of Leslie White, Julian Stewart, Marshall Sahlins. Marshall Sahlins, service, specific service. Sahlins means general. General, Leslie White, Julian Stewart. First we will write about basic tenets of New Evolutionism. New Evolutionism as an evolutionary school came up in 20th century. There are 5 anthropologists who discussed about the same. 5 people you will write. Next side heading, basic tenets of New Evolutionism. Basic tenets of New Evolutionism means 1 paragraph complete. 1 part of the answer. But main question is what? Why? Third paragraph is about why. Fourth paragraph is about Stewart. Fifth paragraph is about what? Marshall Sahlins. And next is about conclusion. Discuss the, then discuss is there. Keyword is discuss. So, however, they are subjected to criticism. Leslie White's criticism 1, Stewart's criticism 1, Marshall Sahlins criticism 1. However, it is It is true. Why? Because harnessing of technology and adaptations and energy will be responsible for evolution. But they did not do any field work. Hence, this school was also subjected to criticism. 3 pages. How many marks? If it is 20 mark, little bit more points. That's it. If it's 10 mark, only 1 point. Main point. What do you understand by the term economic anthropology? Economic anthropology means what? Substantive approach. Economics means formalist approach, I told you. Economics means formalist approach, whereas economic anthropology means substantivist approach. Who gave this? Malnovisky. What do you understand by the term economic anthropology, and describe how the major contributions given by Malnovisky to the economic anthropology with present relevance? Urigubbu system, Vasi system and Kularing. Present relevance. In India, we have Raksha Bandhan festival. Without any net benefit, the relationship between the brother and sister is getting emphasized. Means here is a practical example of economic anthropology. So first, what is economic anthropology? Scope of economic anthropology. Economic anthropology is nothing but substantivist approach. Kularing, Vasi system, Urigubbu system. Contemporary relevance. I am taking the example of nature-man-spirit complex. Nature. This is there in your 3.4 paper 2. I linked it with paper 1. Don't worry, it will come in 3.4. Paper 2. See, economic. Man, a tribal man, will be living in the nature and his all needs will be satisfied. His all needs will be satisfied. So, his survival is because of nature. Hence, he worships nature as spirit. For him, nature is his spirit. Example, nature man spirit complex 3.4, you will study about a tribal community called as Malar. There is a tribal community called as Malar in Rajmahal hills of Jharkhand, where the Malar tribal community were being removed from the Rajmahal hills in order to do mining, where the state government and central government supported the mining companies. But the Malar tribal community, they rejected the mighty government. They fought against the mining company. They never moved from the Rajmahal hills. Why? Because the Rajmahal hills is the abode of God for them. Why? Because their survival is guaranteed by the Rajmahal hills. The government told that they will be giving housing board. The government told that they will be giving rehabilitation, resettlement. The government told that they will be giving compensation. In spite of all these economic benefits, they didn't leave Rajmahal hills. Economic anthropology. They are getting money, they are getting rehabilitation, they are getting resettlement. A housing board colony will be constructed for them. Means a pakka houses will be constructed to them, but still they rejected. Economic anthropology. Contemporary. Recently it happened. Means how we have to link the paper 2 to paper 1. 1 school, 1 question I am taking. Elaborate the R.C. Brown's ideas on social structure, social life, finish. What he told. First I will write about R.C. Brown, then I will talk about social structure, then I will primacy of structures over individuals, then social life, religion itself is a structure, and criticism and conclusion. Elaborate. With example you have to put it. Keyword you have to notice. Keyword is what? Elaborate. Whenever elaborate or illustrate keyword is there, that is keyword. In the first class itself I told. What are the keywords? How we have to address the keywords? Elaborate. With example, you have to prove it. For anything, one caste system in class what we discussed. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Levi-Strauss view on incest taboo, psychic unity with suitable evidences. So first, with respect to Levi-Strauss, their basic tenets of new evolutionism, here basic tenets of structuralism. Continuous arrangements of parts, culture is a result of structure in human mind, underlying law, human mind is invariant. Mainly, he discussed about what? Incest taboo and psychic unity. Incest taboo, structure. Incest taboo itself is a structure. Incest taboo is there, that is the reason family structure is stable. So, incest taboo itself is a structure. On psychic, man will be thinking everywhere in the same format. Why? Because every man is a logical mind. Every man's mind is a logical mind, but the logical mind might be primitive. For a primitive man, the logical mind might be advanced for an advanced man. So it is with respect to the stages where he is staying. Then discuss. Discuss means criticism. Criticism, then conclusion. Write the basic principles involved in culture and personality school of thought with special reference to national character concept given by Ruth Benedict. First you will write about culture personality school introduction. Culture personality school is also called as psychological anthropology. In 1940s, for the first time, the psychological studies were being added to anthropological studies. The behavior, the personality were being studied. The impetus for culture personality school is given by Franz Boas, which was studied by his students called as Margaret Mead and Ruth Benedict. Full stop. Here we are going to discuss about Ruth Benedict. And the second paragraph ki dari chupistunna. Here we are going to study about Ruth Benedict. Why? Because the question is about that is called as intro. Introduction is nothing but in the first paragraph itself. Please don't go look at second paragraph. Few YouTubers will do YouTube video. I am going to discuss about 10 points. Don't miss 9th point he will tell. So what will happen till 9th point he will wait. In 9th point nothing will be there. So we have to open the box so that he read. So introduction is nothing but making him to read the second paragraph. Then you will write about Ruth Benedict. Then you will read about national character studies. Everything about Ruth Benedict. What is the keyword? Write the basic principles in. There is no discuss, so no need for criticism. Directly you will conclude. Write the basic, direct question. Write the basic principles involved in culture and personality school of thought with special reference to national character concept. Discuss is there, then I will write criticism. There is no discuss, no. Discuss means when we are discussing, we will discuss positive points and negative points. Write the comparison between British, German and American school of diffusions. British, German, American school of diffusions. Table wise. We had a table, same table. Attempt all. Examine Malnovisky's theory of needs and write about its significance and limitations. Malnovisky, introduction. Then Malnovisky, what is the need? Need definition is given by whom? Malnovisky. Then theory of needs, biological needs and psychic needs, and significance and limitation. Limitations means criticism. Various anthropological interpretations. This question. Explain the various anthropological interpretations to the colouring. Explain briefly the various anthropological interpretations of the colouring with the present contemporary context. Again, with the present contemporary context. Colouring is the concept given by Malinovisky. Then Malinovisky, full stop. Malinovisky was a British anthropologist who was famous for his school called as functionalism. In functionalism, while explaining about the economic importance, he discussed about economic anthropology. In the process of explaining about substantivist economy, he discussed about colouring. Colouring, next, side heading, colouring. So first you will explain about colouring. You will not direct 15 markers means 3 pages. First paragraph completed. Colouring, the diagram you will draw. Saulava, Mawali, then few points you will write. Finally, you will mention that without any economic benefit, in order to maintain the social relationship, 18 tribal communities, 7,000 men are involved in this ferocious ocean just to maintain their culture and social relationship. Next. Question now. First 1.5 page completed, nearly. Anthropological approaches to colouring. Evolutionist interpretation. 1 paragraph. Functionalist interpretation. What is evolutionist interpretation? Tell me.
They got it from history.
Huh?
అంటే వాళ్ళ history లో ఉంది కాబట్టి అలా తెచ్చారు.
So, good. Evolutionist culture survival. Colouring today doesn't have any purpose. no economical purpose, no benefit except social relation benefit, no other benefit is there. But today also the people are following colouring. Hence evolutionist approach, which is culture survivals. Without any financial benefit, they are following it. Hence, culture survival of evolutionist contribution, number one. Functionalist contribution. There is a social relation benefit. Structuralist. Without any function, without any economic benefit, just to maintain the structure, they are maintaining it. Psychological, a psychological satisfaction. They people came, I have to win. It's a personality of the people. Material, Saulava and Mawali. Those are very important, they are very sacred. Hence, to rotate these sacred things, they are moving in the process called as colouring. Symbolic. The Saulavas and Mawalis themselves are symbols. Symbols of social relationship, symbols of pride, symbols of sacred, symbols of culture, symbols of togetherness. Hence, they are rotating in the process called as colouring. Like this, we have to write with the present contemporary relevance. What is contemporary relevance? The contemporary relevance, colouring might not be having any economical benefit. There might be some social relationship, but no economical benefit. But the contemporary relevance is because of the meetings, because of the association which they established in the process of colouring, they became united and fought against British and they got independence. So, the colouring is helping the people to come together. The 18 tribal communities came together and they themselves claimed independent from British. Contemporary, 1940, 1950, today these are contemporary times only. Their own contemporary relevance, we can put an example. So, they united on the name called as colouring. Why on the name called as colouring? Why? Because they got an opportunity to meet because of colouring. If colouring was not there, they could not get the opportunity to meet. See how many interpretations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Small paragraphs, small paragraphs. What are the major contributions given by Franz Boas to the school of historical particulars? First, what we will write? Franz Boas. First, we will write about Franz Boas. Then Franz Boas gave several theories. For instance, historical particularism and diffusionism. Here we are going to discuss about historical particularism. Then side heading, historical particularism. In historical particularism, we discussed the culture is because of 3 aspects, but the more emphasis was been given to history. History, hence called as historical particularism. Write the basic tenets and the methodologies used for theory of structuralism as propounded by Levi-Strauss. First about people follow rules. Reciprocity, simplest way to create. Social, a gift binds both giver and taker. First, principles of structuralism. Write the basic tenets and methodologies used for theory of structuralism. Means everything. First, structuralism, then principles of structuralism, then Levi-Strauss views on language and culture, incest taboo, totemism, psychic unity of mankind and human mind. In the beginning, what will happen, this you will understand after 3 years if you be in the field. But now only I am telling you. You should not try to read everything. Means what? On human mind, what he told, main point only you have to remember. On psychic unity of mankind, what he told, main point we have to remember. Main point. On totemism, what the main point he told. Evaluator also will search for the same. And that main point also should be in a simplified, understandable way. There is something called as visibility and invisibility. There is something called as visibility and invisibility. Your answer should be visible, then you will get marks. Your answer is invisible, then you will not get marks. Means what? You written content. But I am unable to find the points. which are relevant to the question, then it is invisible. నాకు కనబడాలి కదా. ఎవాల్యుయేటర్కి కనబడితేనే ఎవాల్యుయేటర్ మార్క్స్ వేస్తాడు. అంటే మీ ఆన్సర్ విజిబుల్గా ఉండాలి. సో దెర్ ఈస్ అ కాన్సెప్ట్ కాల్డ్ as visibility. So you will make the evaluator see this is the point which you are searching to give marks. It is written. So while we are writing answers, we have to keep in your mind that whether my answer is visible to the evaluator or not. Not the content. The content should be visible. It is not C. It is C plus V, which is called as CV. CV, you will send for a job. By seeing CV only, you will get the job. So CV is so much visible, then only you will get the job. So your answer is also a CV only. Your answer is also CV. Seeing your CV only, you will give marks. All people will count and finally they will give marks. Then only you will get the job. So it's not only the content plus visibility. How to make visibility, sir? The main point when you are writing about psychic unity of mankind, you have to underline. When you are writing about how people are thinking in a similar way, draw some diagrams. We should not write paragraphs. Sometimes if I only give you paragraphs, 4 or 5 paragraphs in one page, you will not read. This much content is there, what I should read? So it's not about how much content, it is how much organized. That organized way of writing is called as structuring. So that structuring is called as visible. If you want to attend the marriage function, it is only attendance. Means you can go on night point also. Hey, I came, okay. Take one photo, where is lunch? There. Done. But why we dress very neatly? So that people will recognize us. We should be visible so that people will identify us. That identification is your answer. Write the major comparisons between Malinowski's culture functionalism and R.C. Brown's structure functionalism. Biological needs and psychological needs. Primacy to structure. Structure is our word. Technically society. Primacy to structure. Primacy to society. Human needs. Function on contribution of individual to society. Animal existence. Social existence. Animal existence, social existence, religion for psychological satisfaction. Religion itself is a structure. Tell me more, what are the differences Malinowski and... I will send one model answer today for this, my model answer. Tell me more, what are the differences between functionalism and structure functionalism? Tell me more differences there.
5 rules for social. 5 rules he given. 5
Okay.
rules for
So he gave economic anthropology, whereas here social relations. More. Malinowski, participative approach, field work, but non-participative approach. Participatory approach, non-participatory approach. Like this. See, the question is about what? Comparisons. Comparisons means not only difference, but also similarities. Both advocated fieldwork, both there should be emic view, synchronic approach, didn't bother on histories.
What should be the introduction to this questions?
You only tell me. You tell me, I will correct you. Tell me, what is introduction? You remember the first slide, the introduction should be common for functionalism and structure functionalism. So in 19th century, 2 functionalisms evolved. One is called as cultural functionalism, other is called as structural functionalism, whereby one emphasized on culture, other emphasized on structures. Here we are going to discuss about similarities and differences between the culture functionalism and structure functionalism. ఇంట్రడక్షన్ అంటే క్వశ్చన్ రిపీట్ చేయడం. మరి ఇంట్రడక్షన్ అంటే ఏంటి? ఇది మీ క్వశ్చన్కి ఆన్సర్ చెప్తున్నాను చూడండి. Introduction itself is repetition of question only. So the functionalism is of 19th century, in which two functionalisms were been there. One is cultural functionalism and structural functionalism. Here we are going to discuss about similarities and dissimilarities. Oh, now original answer will come. Write briefly the female anthropologists. To the school of Sir Ruth Benedict, Margaret Mead, Cora Du Bois. Introduction. No school had promoted female thinkers. For the first time, anthropology had promoted female thinkers by the name called as Ruth Benedict, Margaret Mead, and Cora Du Bois. Their contributions we are going to discuss. Ruth Benedict, Margaret Mead, Cora Du Bois. Write briefly. So, no need for any criticism. Conclusion. This should be your answers. We'll see further. More few questions. Now you tell me the answer. How did Morgan explain the evolution of marriage, evolution of family, evolution of socio-political organization, and how did other evolutionists? Here, other evolutionists means who? How did other evolutionists disagree with his explanation? Huh? Evolutionists. James Fraser, Henry Morgan. Henry Morgan is already asked. James Fraser, E.B. Taylor, Gordon Child, Leslie White, and Julian Stewart. No need to give silence and service. Why? Because there is general, which is other is specific. So 5 people you have to write. You have to write about E.B. Taylor's. You have to write about James Fraser. You have to write about Leslie White. You have to write about Gordon Child. You have to write about. First, you have to write about Morgan's explanation of evolution, that ancient society, the concept called as theory of social evolution, the diagram you will write. But however, other evolutionists didn't bother about it or didn't accept it. E.B. Taylor didn't accept it. One point where he didn't accept it, he never disagreed it, but he didn't discuss about it. He didn't consider it. Whereas James Fraser, he considered that magic, religion and science, but never bothered about family, marriage, etc. Whereas new evolutionists like Gordon Child, the institutions are evolving with harnessing technology, with harnessing energy and exploitation of natural resources, but their criticism is what? They never studied about social aspects. They never bothered about social aspect. The same thing with Leslie White. Julian Stewart, however, he gave a parabolic form of explanation, whereby in the process, initially it is promiscuity, then there is monogamy, and again there is a free sex, which means again we are going to have the same order of evolution, but in a different form. But however, compared with other evolutionists, we cannot disagree that Henry Morgan's contribution is more immense. Why? Because he gave a proper table explaining how the marriage got evolved, how the kinship got evolved, how the political systems got evolved, how the technology and family got evolved. How did diffusionism and evolutionism differences? As explanations of culture change, tell me.
Culture is changed due to evolution. Diffusion due to diffusion of the culture.
Correct. Independent evolution given by classical evolutionism. Diffusion itself is responsible diffusionism, whereby it is because of migration of people and geographical proximity. Inka. Imitation, yes. Next. Migration, next. So 1 point migration, another point imitation because of geographical proximity. People will like to diffuse rather than to create. Next. More, you think more food habits, primeval cultures, complete diffusionism, no? Food habits, primeval culture, same socio and economic aspects, same cultures. Same socio and economic aspects, same cultures, primeval cultures, same food habits. More, whereas these people believed that, whereas in the diffusion itself, few people believed that it is Egypt from where the culture got diffused. But evolution is not told culture centers, but evolution is told that man will be thinking in the same format. When the needs are same and the environments are same, then the evolution will be. What is functionalism? Discuss the functional approach to the understanding of religion. Religion itself is a unifying factor. Now here only about, see, what is functionalism? Discuss the functional approach to the understanding of religion. Only Malnovisky? Malnovisky, R.C. Brown, Ralph Linton. Ralph Linton is also, no. Ralph Linton also discussed about psychological needs. Ralph Linton also discussed about two types of needs. One is biological needs and psychological needs. Means he also discussed about function. Discuss the functional approach to the understanding of religion. Ruth Benedict, Patterns of Culture. Which study? Pima. In Pima, he discussed about culture traits, culture complexes, culture patterns. What made Geet's interpretative anthropology distinct from Turner's symbolic anthropology? Turner's symbolic anthropology means which theory? Transformational. Victor Turner what? Transformational or interpretative? See, Geet's is interpretative. Victor Turner is what? Transformative. Whereas taxonomical is what? David Schneider. So what is difference between interpretative and transformational? Dembu society and here Bali's. Bali's social life. Bali's cockfights. They are operators, they are vehicles. Who are vehicles? Who? Geets means interpretative. What does each of them mean by the term symbol and symbolic? Symbols are things. Symbols are materials. Symbols are non-materials. The meanings are called as symbolic. The meanings of non-material is called as symbolic. The behavior, the action which is coming out is called as symbolic. The process which is coming out is called as symbolic. The operation which is happening is called as symbolic. How we should write? Dembu society, white sap milk is symbol. Symbolic is social cohesion. Cockfights are symbols. The pride of having cockfights for any resolving of conflict is called as symbolic. Yes, sir. So one is interpretative, another is transformational. Interpretative by Clifford Geertz and transformative by Victor Turner. Introduction. Symbolic and interpretative theory was evolved for the criticism on materialists. The three anthropologists, David Schneider, Victor Turner and Clifford Geertz, explained about the importance of symbols and inherent meaning which is present in the symbols. Here we are going to discuss about Clifford Geertz' interpretative theories and Victor Turner's transformational theories. Intro means we are going to give direction. What he told is correct. Question, repetition itself is introduction. But not as it is. In order to fill the pages. Emican ethic. From which school? Cognitive. So first you should write about cognitive anthropology. Cognitive anthropology had discussed about in the process of doing ethnographic studies, there is a need for people's view and ethnographers' views, which has been named as emicanetic view. Here we are going to discuss about the difference between emic and etic view. That is emic and etic view. How does the difference derive from the study of language? How they are different from language? Manku means the Koya people know only one variety of manku. Whereas American people have so many varieties of snow. If you don't remember the number, tell so many varieties. Bamboo, whereas Koya people have multiple varieties of bamboo. Whereas American know only language. So when we see from outside, we will come to know that it is only one variety. But when we talk with them, we will come to know that there are multiple varieties of bamboo. Why? When we see these people are not consuming pork, but when we go inside them and we will understand the pork is non-edible and pork is edible. Muslims versus Koya. Yes or no? Same. One is Stephen Taylor, other is Harold Conklin. Cognitive theories. Basic features of postmodernism in anthropology. They are against subjectivity, they are for objectivity, skeptical postmodernism, affirmative postmodernism, deconstruction and reconstruction, Spilford. Tell me the names. Jacques Derrida, Spilford, one more name is Michael Foucault. Point out the difference in concepts of classical evolutionism and new evolutionism in socio-cultural anthropology. Which stage of prehistoric culture is known as cultural evolution and why? You don't worry. Here in archaeology, Gordon Childe is a new evolutionist. Gordon Childe told the cultural evolution happened in Neolithic age. So Neolithic age is called as cultural evolution according to Gordon Childe. This we will read in archaeology. So he linked thought with archaeology. So there you have to remember the point and you have to write here. Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. Gordon Childe told that Neolithic is a greater stage. Why? Because agriculture came into existence. Food production started. Once the food production started, man started evolving further. The population started increasing. Hence, it is also called as revolution. It is also called as cultural evolution. It is called as revolution. It is also called as cultural evolution. Historical particular, 10 mark. Theory of new evolutions. Basic tenets of structural functionalism. Yes or no? Online. Rakshita. Short notes on functionalism. Functional approach to understanding of religion. In what ways functionalism different from? Differences. Structural functionalism, 2008. I'm going more down. Describe the structural features of social life as suggested by R.C. Brown. Structural features, social life, 5. Number 1, existence of social group. Very good. Internal structure. 3rd, distinction. 4th, social distinction. Dyadic relationship. Bring out contribution of Victor Turner, Clifford Goods in interpretative theories in anthropology. Cultural materialism. So first we have to understand the subject. People will think that first I have to open PYQ. If you know, then you will open PYQ. Lot of wrong things are there in the outside. If you watch the video, if you watch the movie, then you can give the review. First we should understand the subject. First we have to see the syllabus. Next we have to understand the subject. Then we have to make our own notes. Then we have to check with the PYQ whether I am able to answer it or not. I will make model answers for PYQ and prepare a 1% told me. First you should have subject, no. The same questions will not repeat, wrong. The concept will be the same, the question will be round tripping. For example, Jacques Derrida deconstruction. What do you, if you don't know the subject? It took 30 minutes to explain you deconstruction. So languages are not singular narratives. The words doesn't have a singular meaning. The languages have multiple meanings according to the situation. So ethnography which is written are in singular notion, which can be true, which cannot be true. Which can be true, which cannot be true means it is subjective. So we have to break it. and we want a singular meaning. When there is a singular meaning, it is called as objective. So in order to get objective interpretation, we need to have deconstruction. So we have to deconstruct it and we have to reconstruct it. Jacques Derrida, true.